Crystal Palace and Brighton and Hove Albion have just drawn it 1-1 at Selhurst Park in a derby. Which is it really a derby though? Because Crystal Palace is like, well, it's South London, isn't it? And Brighton, it's the South Coast. It's not really a derby, is it? Is it like I don't understand why it is, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like a rivalry, like Liverpool and Man United. They're not really close to each other; they're 30 miles apart. Or it might just be the Seagulls v the Eagles. Um, but yeah, Palace utterly dominated for the majority of the game. But they didn't actually create that many clear-cut chances. The goal came just before half-time. Conor Gallagher made an excellent run into the box. He got a slight nudge from Mark Cucurella, and that's sort of sent him off balance, but he still sort of had the ball. And then Leandro Trossard clumsily came into the side of him and just knocked him over. And it was enough for the penalty. And Conor Gallagher, by the way, is going to be some player, I think. He is like, he's an all-round midfielder. He is brilliant. If I was a team like Manchester United, well, the problem is he's on loan from Chelsea, isn't it? So, yeah, Chelsea aren't really going to sell to Manchester United for cheap, are they? But I was going to say he'd be a cheaper alternative to someone like Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips or Jude Bellingham. But he does look a really good player. He can tackle, he can pass, he can dribble. He scored a couple of goals this season, so that would suggest that he can shoot as well. Um, he looks like an excellent player. Um, yeah, the people comparing to Todd Cantwell just because they have the same haircut, completely different players. Todd Cantwell's similar player to like someone like Dele Alli, whereas um, Gallagher is I don't want to make too many early comparisons, but he is a bit like Gerrard, but he hasn't shown any evidence that he can really shoot yet from long distance. Like obviously he's not Gerrard's level yet, anyway. Like let's not get too far, obviously. But with him and Mason Mount in midfield, Chelsea do have a decent midfield partnership for the future. But anyway, enough about that. Wilfried Zaha dispatched the penalty, good penalty, hit it true and into the bottom left corner, and that made it 1-0 at half time. I can't really think of any other clear chances. I think Odson Edouard had a half chance. He got a shot off, but it was a fairly simple save for the keeper. In the second half, it was more of the same, really. Brighton did change the tactics a little bit. They brought on an extra midfielder and took Dan Burn off and went to four at the back. But Stephen Alzate, who came on for Dan Burn, did get injured in the second half, so he had to be subbed off. Um, but yeah, Brighton, they've got the same amount of points as Man City, Chelsea, Man United, Everton, 6 games into the season, which is very impressive. Only 1 point behind Liverpool at the top of the table. They'll be a bit disappointed they couldn't get the win tonight, but they managed to get an equaliser in the last minute through Neil Maupay. It was poor defending from Palace, to be honest. You got 30 seconds to go. The keeper's booted the ball up from a free kick. If you've got a free kick and the goalkeeper's taking it and you're 1-0 up with 30 seconds to go, there should be absolutely no way that you're not winning the game. And Palace somehow managed to concede. It just got booted back up the field from the goal kick by one of the Brighton defenders. I think it might have been Shane Duffy. and it just bounced over the Crystal Palace defence. Neil Maupay threw on goal and dinks it over the keeper. And obviously Maupay, one of his things is he likes to be the little shithouse. So runs up to the Palace fans and gives it all that. But then also the Brighton fans were to the offside, so he ran to them afterwards. But it wasn't a bad game to watch, but it definitely wasn't a thriller, to be honest. Just trying to think of anything else that really happened in the game. Zaha got his 70th goal for Palace in his 400th game for the club, which, I mean, people say Zaha missed out on a massive opportunity to go to a big club. Now, obviously, Zaha's a very good player, but 70 goals in 400 games for a forward, he's not a striker, but a forward's fair enough to say. It's not a great return, is it? It's just under one in every 6 games. It's not great considering that there was a point where he was more valuable than Mohamed Salah. Like in 2017, Mohamed Salah cost Liverpool 40 million, and Wilfried Zaha would have cost a team like Arsenal probably 60 million off Palace back then. And Mohamed Salah, since joining Liverpool, has scored about 130 goals in 210 games. So, the comparison is like unreal. Salah scores about 3 times more frequently than Zaha does for Palace. And obviously they are slightly different players, but Zaha's record isn't world class, is it? Like, I think Crystal Palace probably is his level, to be fair to him. But yeah, Benteke came on for Odsonne Edouard towards the end of the game. I think Edouard, he's a good player, but I think the 2 goals he scored against Tottenham, like there were some people who genuinely thought he was going to win the Golden Boot this season. He'll get maybe 10 or 15 goals, which is still a decent return for a Crystal Palace striker. It's not bad, but he's not going to get that. It's very different to the Scottish League, the Premier League is. Anyway, finished 1-1. Not a bad result for either team, really, considering the form of both sides. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.